Greetings. Full resto, start to finish this time. No multi-parted, fragmented, meandering all over the place odysseys. So it's an early 80s Matchbox Ferrari 308. Prime condition for a restoration. Just how you want it to be, really. It's rough enough so that it'll be quite satisfying to see the transformation, but it's not so rough that there's going to be unexpected problems. So without further ado, let's get it opened up. And I've even learned not to talk over the drilling. See, raising my game a bit. Because this is a start to finish, I'll try and cut down on the relentless tedium and grind of it a little bit, and just make it into a little bit more of an interesting watch. But obviously, if you want to get into the nitty gritty of any part of the procedure, then I've got other videos that go into it in far more detail. So this is the glass. I mean, it wasn't too bad. I've managed to get the glass pretty much looking like brand new just by using nothing but sandpaper. So there you go. Just went down through the grits, maybe 2 minutes per side per grit. So, and I used about 10 different grits, ranging from 1,000 grit down to around about 8,000, 9,000. So you're looking at about 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes all in all to get that glass looking new. And then out with the metal toothbrush just to get all the stray bits of paint off the body that's been in the stripper. The stripper, it might not look like it really did that much of a job on especially on this lower half, because there's a lot of blue still there, but what it did, it loosened it. There's no, I mean, look how it's coming off. There's no way it'd be coming off as easily as this if I just took the thing and went straight at it with this, because the metal toothbrush, it's not a particularly harsh metal. It's only brass or something. It's quite soft. It's just not quite as soft as the body of the car. And then we're cleaning up the white plastics. This was just a bit of toing and froing, light sanding around the edges, just to get rid of anywhere where it's been bitten by its previous owner, or running at skirting boards or whatever. So just there's a little bit of sunlight kind of discoloration on the white plastic as well, but again, just back and forth, bit of washing up liquid, and that might look like the metal toothbrush that I was using there. It's not. That's its brother, the nylon toothbrush. When you buy these metal toothbrushes, you always get this sort of plastic bristle one with it, which you could almost use an actual toothbrush. It's probably a bit harsher than the bristles on a normal toothbrush. So it's still not a toothbrush, even though it sort of looks like one. But yeah, because it's not as harsh as the metal ones, it's good for plastics. So now we're on to sanding the actual body. Again, I mean, I'm mirror polishing this one. This is going to be, I'm going for that sort of chrome look. The wheels, I'm keeping the standard ones. I think people cast aside standard Matchbox wheels far too easily. They think that for some reason people think it's part of the rules that you must change the wheels for some fancy things that you've ordered from a website or something. You don't. I mean, yeah, all right, if you're trying to make an absolutely realistic, if you're going for a realistic replica, then obviously if somebody's 3D printed a set of wheels that look just like the ones that were fitted to the real car, then yeah, they're going to come in handy. But it's not always about that, and this particular resto isn't about that. We're not trying to make a realistic replica of a Ferrari 308 here. We're trying to restore a toy. And I think the Matchbox wheels, the wheels that Matchbox used in the 70s and 80s, I think they suited the cars that they put them on. And these are in pretty good condition. All I'm really doing is augmenting the chrome that was still there by just putting a little bit of this, it's not quite a chrome paint pen. I mean, people have suggested to me that I should get a certain brand of very popular chrome paint pen that seems to actually replicate the manufacturer's chrome that they put on these wheels. I don't want one. I get the feeling that if you use one of those, it'll look all right for a while and then it'll just fade. I'd rather just use this really nice, bright, almost chrome silver paint pen, because I know it'll at least stay like that. So we're back to the mirror polishing now. This is the lower half. By the looks of it, it's a bit of a blur. You can't really see it, but I will stop at some point. There you go. And so it's, yeah, if you want an in-depth videos of how to do this, I have done a video purely devoted to just mirror polishing a body. It's an E-type jag that I used, and it's a few videos back. I'm just going into it fairly, just showing the highlights or lowlights, whichever way you want to put it. But yeah, it's just cycling through the different. Again, same with the glass. I use the same pads for the glass, plastic, metal bodies, everything. Started at 1,000 grit, worked my way down to, like I say, the final pads were probably about 8,000-9,000 grit pads. And I would say you're probably looking at around. You do 30-second bursts on an area, and then see how you get on, and do a bit more if it still needs it, and then go down through the grades like that. Sometimes you have to go back and repeat a grade, and then go down again. You can see the glasses in there looking absolutely fine. The shine that I got on the body is absolutely fine for what I need it for. You could almost call it done at this stage. I mean, it does look quite nice, just the idea of just this kind of chrome version of it. That's why I thought it was worth filming it a little bit, because it's not going to stay like this, but it does look quite nice, and you can see there it's very reflective. So we're now going to go into a somewhat rustic way of making paint. It involves a couple of cheap biros, so it's got to be good. So yeah, what do you think's happening here? Thankfully, you can't see the other end of that little plastic pipe. But yeah, I was actually blowing the ink through. It's the centre of a ballpoint pen, and I'm just blowing the ink out of the other end of it into some Tamiya clear, some Tamiya transparent, to make my own paint, make my own colour. So there's a bit of purple and a bit of pink gone in there. The idea is to make a sort of magenta. So that's the pink going in now. It's hard to give an exact ratio to use with something like this, but really, if you've got about 4 or 5 millilitres of the paint in the jar, so like half a Tamiya jar, because they tend to be 10 millilitres, and you put 3 or 4 drops, 3 or 4, just blow out 3 or 4 drops from the end. That'll be enough, because it's quite concentrated, and then really stir it up. Really, like, you could not possibly shake or stir this too much, and that's the colour you end up with. Quite an angry looking shade of, might be a little bit pinker than I was really after, perhaps, but we'll see. Anyway, this is a little bit of an error. I like to think that I know how much thinners I'm putting in just by eye. I don't, so I should measure it out. So yeah, measure it out. That, what I thought I was putting in there was about 30%, and it can't have been, because there's something not right going on here with how it's going on. I mean, for a start, it's got far too much of a healthy sort of spray coming out of it, and it's going on very thinly. At this rate, it'll take forever. I've not really got the patience to layer it up like that. So what I ultimately do is I just go back and thicken it up a bit. So I put a little bit more of everything in. So there's a bit more Tamiya clear, a bit more. Try and keep it an equal amount of, like, a bit more Tamiya clear, a bit more of the ink from the pink pen, a bit more of the ink from the purple pen, just to thin it all, but no more thinners. And that just thickened it up nicely. And if you look at it now, it's very different. It's quite thick. It's only just thin enough for the little airbrush to be able to actually blow it out. But this is how you want it with this paint, because this paint does not play by the normal rules. It's different in nature. Like, if you try to stunt like this with normal, like, car paint, for example, this would not be the way to do it, and it would not be going particularly well right now. But because, like I said, this Tamiya Clear, the transparent Tamiya paints, it's not really paint. It's like, I don't know, is it a lacquer? Is it like a liquid polymer or something? I don't really know how to describe it, but it certainly doesn't behave like car paint, and it doesn't behave like normal base coats and things like that. So you can put it on like that. I mean, I suppose you'd call it, yeah, it's like a lacquer that's tinted. So you can get very, very close like this. It's almost like you're pouring it on rather than spraying it on, because the atomization is so tiny. So you just get it right up to it like this, and you know what this actually is? This is about as close as you could get to respraying a Matchbox car with a tiny little man that was like to scale to the car with a tiny little spray gun. So like this like, you know, the Land of the Giants kind of scenario where you're the giant. That's not going to work. That comparison ain't going to work. All right. Right, let's say you've got a man, a professional, or a woman, a professional paint sprayer. You've got a professional car paint sprayer, and you're shrinking them down to the same scale as the Matchbox car. And you're shrinking this, and they've got the spray gun in the hand. That's getting shrunk with them to the same proportion, and the compressor and the paint and everything. All right, everything. And for the sake of decency, yeah, the clothes are shrinking with them. Yeah, so it all shrinks down perfectly to scale, so that it's the same scale as this car. And then you just get them to do this like professional spray job. And that is what it's like when you do it like that, sort of. Anyway, look, this is how it's turned out. I was quite pleased with this result, especially when you consider that this is what it's like just a few minutes later. They tend to look better overnight. Once you've left them to harden up overnight, they tend to look even better. So yeah, so this was it, just probably a couple of hours when it was hard enough to just about be able to handle it. It was still a bit risky handling it at this stage. I don't know why I do these things. I don't know why I can't just be a little bit more patient and just leave the thing where it is until the next day. But no, I had to see what it looked like. You can't blame me, really, can you? And then this is the next day. Now, all right, I mean, magenta Ferrari ain't going to be absolutely everybody's cup of tea, but I think it's lovely. It's a colour that Matchbox used to use quite a lot on cars at this time, but they've just never used it on this particular one, and I've just got a bit of a thing about this colour, so I like to just turn everything into being this colour. I've tried to keep this one looking like a factory variant that they could have possibly made themselves. That's why I've not put any extra details on it, kept the wheels as they are, because... So, yeah, there's still quite a bit more footage to come of the car itself, another minute or so. But yeah, until next time, thanks for watching.